Hi, my name's Jen. Welcome to my channel, All My Plants. Today we have Alocasia. We are continuing with the show and tell. The show and tell of all of my plants. I don't know how many Alocasia I have. I'm going to say 20 or less. I don't know. They were outside living in the greenhouse, the majority of them. Let me close that door. When the birds hear me talking, they like to talk back. What was I saying? Oh. A lot of the Alocasia were living out in the greenhouse until pretty recently. Just spider mites. I'm having a hard time with them right now. I think the only ones I didn't have outside were the ones that I got in a trade recently. They were still kind of hanging out in the cabinet waiting to be potted up or repotted or, you know, whatever. But now the majority are in here. So, it's less hot in here. At least I have a fan in here that I can just kind of stand in front of. Maybe. I don't know. I think it's about 100 degrees in the greenhouse right now. In this room, it might be about 80 degrees. I'll take 80 over 100. So the first one, Xanthasoma. I guess I'm going to do Alocasia, Colocasia, Xanthasoma. Any kind of elephant ear type plants, anything that would fall in that category, I'll just do all of them in this. Because honestly, some of them I'm not exactly sure whether they're Colocasia or Alocasia. But this one here I'm sure is Xanthasoma, and I'm sure it's the most spider-mitey plant in my collection. It is Xanthasoma Mickey Mouse, I believe it's called. And it's down to one leaf because I cut the others off. It's easier to fight spider mites on one leaf than on several. This one here, it was sold to me as variegated Alocasia stingray. I recently got to see an actual Alocasia stingray in person, and it doesn't have the cup, like this little fold at the bottom here. They don't have that. It's just a straight point flat. It doesn't cup like that. So yes, whoever told me that this was Xanthasoma Mickey Mouse, you're absolutely correct. I think I agreed with you then too. But this is currently the only Xanthasoma I have in my collection. I've bought more before. I have had them before in my collection, and none of them are currently with us, if that tells you anything. The most spider-mitey plant ever. And it's weird because it's not a thin, dainty little leaf. It's kind of thick, like there's some substance to it. But the spider mites, like I don't know if you can see, like the whole leaf is just damage. So, I don't know, but it's pretty heinous. Also, I think I have a colony of thrips living on my ceiling. I don't know, I'll put in a picture. But I just noticed it. I came up here today and I was like, what is that all over the ceiling? I can't see, even with my glasses, I can't see, and I've got paint in my right eye, so I really, really can't see right now. But if I saw that on a plant, I'd think it was thrips. But it's on a ceiling. I don't know, I'm gonna dust buster them off after I'm done here. But so this one's still growing. I mean, it's an enthusiastic grower. No complaints about the way this plant grows or how fast it grows. I guess you can see some roots in there, maybe. It's got a little bit of green gunge too, because like I said, this was out in the greenhouse growing algae. But it grew fantastically. It's just the spider mites. It is just the spider mites. And I think I have about 200 plants in the house, and about 180 of those are in this room. I have no idea in the greenhouse. I'm going to say a lot more than 200. I'm not sure, but I did count in here, and it's, like I said, about 180. And for whatever reason, I've clustered all these spider mite plants in this room. I guess because I'm in here frequently. I'm keeping tabs on them. That and why I spread them around to other plants that don't seem to be affected with the spider mite apocalypse of 2024. I don't know. Next. This one here, I just said in my last video, which was actually, I was repotting some Alocasia, and I happened to grab this guy because it was on my mind. And I said, I'm not sure exactly what this one is. And someone said, Bisma Platinum. Alocasia Bisma Platinum. And yeah, I agree. I'm still not 100% sure, but I'm definitely going to go with that because it makes sense. It looks like that plant to me. I guess the peculiar thing about this plant is some of the the leaves have a very open sinus, like it has lobes, a very deep sinus there. And then some just don't have that. So it's really hard for me to 100% say that this plant is one thing or another. But I am going with Bismuth Platinum, or Bismuth Silver, whichever you'd prefer. Whichever you'd prefer. I believe they're the same thing, platinum and silver. Maybe not, I don't know. But I really like this plant. I like it. One that has not yet had spider mites. There's no spider mites or damage on it. You gotta love a plant that just behaves. It just behaves, it just survives. It doesn't complain, although it is pretty dry. You might complain about that. Maybe I'll set that aside for water. Yeah. I'll leave it right here in my face. Maybe I won't forget it. This one here has struggled. This is not looking great. Poor thing. I think there's 7 or 8 in here, and I really do need to separate them out and get them in some actual soil, because there's probably not much soil left with all that going on in there. Hilo Beauty. I think it was labeled Alocasia, but I don't know if it's Alocasia or Colocasia, if you want the truth of it. It's got a lot of damage on it. Maybe you can see it there. Yeah. And that is, it's not so much spider mites, which this plant has had spider mites, but that's not just spider mite damage. I also let this dry a lot because it just dries really quickly. There's a lot of forms in there, and they're all kind of trying to make a move at the same time. Like I said, 7 or 8. So it dries really fast. And while we all love those full pots, and it's easier to get a full pot of Alocasia, Colocasia, you know, those types of plants, if there's multiples in a pot, I do generally not put 8 in a pot this size. So I'm going to have to separate those out. They just volunteered. That's how they came. I didn't plant that many in a pot. That's just how many have come back. So I'll sort them out at some point. I'm always sorting. It sounds like I just put things off and just never do anything, but I swear I'm constantly doing planty things, plant chores, constantly. But today, it might be the day, but currently right now is not the day for this plant. It's not the time for this plant. It might be the day. I don't know. We'll see. Hang in there. This is Alocasia cuprea. I don't know how you say it. I think this one was sold to me as Red Secret, which I really like it. It's just coming back from dormancy, and I put it in pawn to do that. Oh, look, we have a root coming out the side there. Maybe you can see it. It's the only one I see. Oh no, there's a couple at the bottom too. It's doing pretty well. I think it's only been about 6 or 7 weeks that it's taken off growing again. So I'm not really 100% sure what I did to send it into dormancy. Look, one of those bugs is on the stem of this. The ceiling bugs. I don't know. They're like tiny to be gnats. They're not fungus gnats or anything like that. I'm horrified because there's hundreds. There's like a cluster here. There's a cluster down by that light. There's some more back here across the ceiling, just peppered in. What are you? I'm getting distracted. The Alocasia cuprea, right? It's a good plant, and it was tough. How I sent it into dormancy, I couldn't tell you, but it came right back. It didn't take too long to decide to do that. And it's done it fast. So, however I sent it into dormancy, like I said, it's a tough plant. It was probably that I let it dry entirely too much. Maybe it had spider mites and I didn't notice it. I don't know, because this one doesn't have spider mites now. And it has been right next to plants that have been infested with it. Actually, it might have some spider mites right now. Right in the center there. I don't know if you'll be able to see. But it might. It might. I don't know. It's going to get sprayed either way. I spray all of my Alocasia, Colocasia, Xanthasoma, Caladium. They all get sprayed pretty regularly. This sad thing here, you're probably wondering, why would you even show that? I would show it because I just repotted it. It's dry too. I just repotted it, so I'm not worried that it looks pretty rough right now. But this is Colocasia, Pharaoh's Mask. It does have new growth, so that's why I'm not so worried that the 2 oldest leaves are kind of tanking. I don't actually see spider mites. I think it's just shop from being repotted. So I'm not stressing about it. But I really like this plant. It gets much bigger than this, and the leaves, you see how this one is kind of drooped back? That's not like a wilting thing. That's how it looked even when it was happy. They just kind of lean back on themselves. And it's very pretty. It's very striking with those markings, the way it looks. Usually on a green leaf though. So we're not going to linger on this poor sad thing. I'm going to set this over here for water also. That's going to be a theme of this video. That needs water, this needs water, everything needs water. Okay, this guy here is Alocasia tigrina. Tigrina, or Tigrina. I'm not sure how you're supposed to pronounce it, but that's the name of the plant. I like the very, what is it, lance-shaped leaves. They're nice. They're very nice. This one does have a little bit of damage as well. So, I haven't had this one very long. There's two in here, I guess, and one's got a new leaf coming in there. I like the stripies on the petioles. The stripy petioles, those are cool. It's just very green. The veins are very subdued. It's very pretty. The new leaf sticking straight up and an older leaf that I'm pulling down. It's very strange. But that's just how it decided to grow. It's probably reaching for the light, and that's probably why it's tipped up like that. It's kind of underneath a shop light actually on that shelf. But it seems to be doing okay. This one actually doesn't need to be watered currently. But it's been an easy one. It didn't, I recently repotted and I left the two together. I think I do have some corms somewhere. There's a lot of corms. I'm not going to go through all the corms because there's a lot. And I didn't label them. So we're not sure what's what. But I do like this one a lot. It's just very chill. Didn't get upset about anything. And it's a thick leathery leaf, so I don't think, it doesn't have spider mites, but I think if it did, it wouldn't take an immediate hit. You know what I mean? Maybe. I don't know, but it's a good one. It's tough. It's tough. This poor thing is my Alocasia Jacqueline, which it was growing pretty good. It didn't seem to love it in the greenhouse for some reason. So we're down to the one leaf club. I'm okay with that, though. It looks like it might be making a move to send out a new leaf right here fairly soon. So we can hope. We can hope. I do like Alocasia Jacqueline. I hate the way it feels, but I touch it anyway because it's like, it's bristly. It's a weird texture. But it's an attractive plant. I like the way it looks. It also looks like it might have some spider mites going on. Not sure. It wouldn't surprise me. It wouldn't surprise me. I'm probably going to repot this because it just kind of went back. I did not cut the leaves off, so it's gone back to one leaf on its own. So I don't know if it's not holding enough moisture in there. I don't know what's going on, but I'm going to dig around and find out. It also needs water. This one here came to me in a trade. Alocasia no ID, and I don't know what it is, but I do like it. I do like it. It's just a little green guy. I think she's put 3 in here for me. So it's really pretty. Really pretty. It sort of has some veining, but they're not the most prominent. Like they kind of just hang out in there, and they're unobtrusive. They don't need to be the star of the show. They're happy just to be in the show. Looks like we might have a little bit of spider mites going on here too. Everything needs to be sprayed, but it's actually watered. This guy here is Alocasia Frydek. It's 2 of them in there, little babies. I think there's another corm in there, but that one just hasn't done anything. It's just sitting there looking peculiar. But yeah, I do like Alocasia Frydek quite a bit. Quite a bit. I think it's the veining on it as it gets more mature, the leaf shape on it. It's just a very nice plant. This one actually doesn't seem to have any spider mite damage. Amazing. That doesn't happen all the time with Frydek. But it's been growing well. I haven't had this particular one up and about very long, so it's growing pretty good. I'm happy. I'm happy. Also needs water. Can we pull him out of there and spy on his roots? Oh, it has decent roots. Not bad. Maybe you can see them. I'm dropping soil everywhere. Everywhere. But I'll probably go ahead and put it in fresh soil anyway. I don't think it'll be too mad about it. Time will tell. We'll see. I saw, speaking of the fried egg, I was at Thomas Gardens in New Church, Virginia. I don't know, last week maybe, I think. And they had an Alocasia fried egg there, which I didn't know Alocasia got this big, period. Never mind Alocasia fried egg. It was up on like a bench. So it's really hard to judge how tall it was, but I'm gonna say it was probably 6 feet, because even up on the bench, I had to look up at it. And I did. I stood there, you know, mouth agape, staring at this plant. There was this man, probably about 3 feet from me, you know, just watering, doing whatever his business was. And he's kind of looking at me like, girl, are you okay? I was not okay. I couldn't have wrapped my arms around the base of the plant. The leaves were longer than my torso. I'm about 5'7", so that was an enormous leaf. Like, I grabbed the end of it and pulled it down to look at it, and like, no spider mite damage either. How does that happen? But anyway, so that was Alocasia fried egg. I'm gonna go back down there and see if I can get a picture with that plant, because it was like, nobody would ever believe that that was Alocasia fried egg. It was crazy. Since we're talking about Alocasia fried egg, this is the variegated. I guess the non-variegated is Mycolitziana, I don't know. It's fried egg. This is the variegated one. There's two in here. This larger one being the main plant, but then there's a tinier one kind of off to the side there. Sorry, I'm trying not to tip it too far. It's in pawn. I really like to put Alocasia in pawn. I didn't put this one in pawn, it came this way. If you've been hanging out with me for a while, I hauled one of these, a variegated Alocasia last year, I think in November. Right before Plantmas, maybe. Vlogmas, Plantmas. Same difference, right? But anyway, it was, you know, this size. I think it had one leaf. It was a rehab. It was also in pawn, and I had to go and mess with it. She had just given it to me. The girl gave me a bunch of like Hoya, some Alocasia, a couple philodendron. She was just getting rid of everything in her collection. She was over it. So I was trying to rehab it, and I messed with it. I can't remember if no, it wasn't in pawn. It was in perlite. It was kind of in this kind of setup in perlite, and I didn't love it. So I went to put it in pawn. It tanked. It rotted. It did not make it. This one here seems to be doing pretty good. Now this is a closed system. There's no drainage or anything. So, you know, to flush it, I'd have to fill and dump. But you can see roots down there. And they don't appear to be rotting or anything. They look fine. They look healthy. But once again, that makes me nervous, because that's, you know, where I'd put my water or nutrient solution, whichever the case may be. Are they gonna rot? Are they gonna rot? I don't know how long it's been in here like this, but it seems happy. It seems fine. Do I mess with it? Do I leave it alone? What do I do? I don't know, but it's pretty. It's pretty. Can't tell you much about it, except for it doesn't have spider mites yet. Haven't had this long. And I don't do great with any fried egg, actually. It seems to be a constant battle of sending them into dormancy and doing my best to get them back out, then sending them into dormancy and doing my best to get them back out. So I have some that have never gone dormant, and I'm not saying they look great, but they've never gone dormant. And then I have other ones that have spent more time as a corm than they have as a plant. Fried egg is generally one of them. This sad puppy right here is Colocasia. I'm not sure exactly what the name is, but I've seen it sold as Waikiki, and I've also seen it labeled Tropical Storm, maybe. I wanted to say Tropical Thunder, but that's not right. And it looks pretty sad, but it's recently been repotted, is why. The newer leaf is standing up on its own, and it's got one coming, so I'm not overly worried about it. I'll just cut this one off when it spits this other one out. But yeah, it was recently repotted, and I think that's why it's so angry with me. I say recently, last week maybe. But I really like this plant. I really do. This white stripe that goes down here in brighter light, like way brighter than I can provide indoors, like just about full sun outside, or at least some amount of full sun outside, that will turn pink, or like a pinky purple, it'll blush. So this is a light sensitive alocasia. It really needs higher light than I can provide in here. In the greenhouse, it leans to wherever there isn't shade cloth and touches the polycarbonate, the panels. I have another one that does that. I'll show you that one now too. Also very light dependent. And that would be this guy here. This is Colocasia Black Magic. So this leaf, exactly as it should look, nice and dark, grew touching the polycarbonate panel. This leaf, very long and leggy and kind of just like a muddy green color, grew inside under a grow light, almost touching the grow light. You see the difference in height there? So that's, that'll let you, this one will let you know if your lighting is any good. So yeah, this one is in here just because once again it had spider mites being treated, and this leaf grew since it's been indoors, and it does not appear to have spider mites yet, so yay, victory. I really need to get this one back outside, but right now it's sitting very, I mean, the light is just above it. Can you even, yeah, the light is just above it, and it's just not enough for this plant. This plant would really prefer to get at least a few hours of full sun a day, and that's also how it gets that nice color. Well, that was fun. I managed to knock over 5 plants and the camera overheated. Just a lot of things happened at the same time. But we're back now, and we're continuing. We're gonna carry on like nothing ever happened. I'll start with this guy. I've just moved a bunch of them over here. This is Alocasia. I don't know why I'm staring at the pot like it's gonna tell me, but I'm pretty sure it's Alocasia Syrian. And I really like this one. Once again, it's the shape, the stripy petioles. There is a lot of petiole to leaf, and I don't know if that's a light thing. I have some corms of this one around somewhere as well. But yeah, it kind of cups a little bit as the leaf hardens off. I think this is cupped a little bit more than what's typical for this plant. And I think that's because it had spider mites. Maybe. Or maybe it's just a, you know, a thing that this plant does. I haven't had it for an extremely long time or anything. It's a 2-leaf wonder. But I can see where a 3rd leaf is getting ready to make a move, so I'm happy with that. I do like this plant. The veining, I think it's the veining. It's very pretty. It's very nice. Very nice indeed. So yeah, Alocasia Syrian. Then this little guy here, which I kind of fell in love with as soon as I opened it. And I know a lot of people are probably like, but it's Alocasia Bambino. I got this one in the trade as well. And I love it. It's the dark leaf. It's the dark leaf. I know some people are able to find these, like, you know, in your home improvement stores. I'm not, or if I am, I'd never paid any attention to them because they were not looking great, covered in spider mites, half dead, whatever. But this one here has leaf growth. It had this leaf when it came, it spit this leaf out, and it's working on another one, and it's so cute. It's so cute. And it has a blush on the back of the leaf as well. I don't know if you'll be able to see the color there, the tiny little guy, but I like it, and I think it's cute, and I'm very happy to have it. This one here, also got this in a trade. I got a bunch of these in a trade. I'll tell you which ones were trade and which ones weren't, which I think almost all of the rest of the ones I'm going to show you except for one I got in that trade. Well, that I'm going to show you in here because I have a couple outside. This is Alocasia Dragon's Breath, which really cool. It came with this one leaf here, you see down here, and I guess it's got 2 growth points coming up. So this is one, and then this is the other. This one came out a little wonky, but I kind of like it. It's got an hourglass figure. It's pretty. It's pretty. So this is one that I've seen it before, and I've been like, oh, that's cool. You know, it's got that, I do like that lance-shaped leaf, that long, elongated, thin leaf, and the color. But I was just like, okay, Dragon's Breath, gotcha. I think it's one you kind of have to see it to really appreciate it, see it in person. It has a texture, but the leaf is kind of thin. I mean, it's not the thinnest, but like the actual thickness of the leaf, not the width. It's kind of thin. Thinner than I would have expected. But yeah, I just think it's really pretty. I really like it. It's not one that I probably would have hunted down, but once again, I'm happy to have it. Happy to have it. I say that about a lot, and I mean it. I like it. This one here, this is, I keep wanting to say Alocasia Relax. It's not Relax. Alocasia Mellow. Alocasia Mellow. And it looks very similar to Maharani. The color is a little bit different. Here's Alocasia Maharani. These also came in the trade. They're side by side. Mellow on the left, Maharani on the right. I'd say one difference that's more apparent, this leaf is more elongated. This leaf is a little bit more round on the Mellow. That and maybe there might be a slight color difference. A lot of people say that there's a difference in like the veination, which maybe you can see. I don't know. For me looking at it, I see it some, but I don't know. I like them both. They're both doing well. This is, there's two in here. Alocasia Quilted Dreams. Not one I think I was super familiar with. I'm pretty sure I must have seen it because I'm seeing it everywhere now all of a sudden. But, like, I don't mean in stores, I mean online. But it's lovely. It's another one that I really like. I think it's gorgeous. Gorgeous. And I think it needs water. Everything seems to need water. I don't know, after I'm done here, I'll have to come back and check them out because after this is plant chores. I don't think I'm going to be repotting any Alocasia today, but I am going to do some watering. Okay, this one isn't labeled, but I'm pretty sure this was Alocasia Bisma, which this is the other one that we think is Bisma. So it is a slightly different leaf shape, but this one is very small. And this one, when it was small, also had a different leaf shape. So, but the quilting, the pillowiness, the veining is pretty similar, I think. I don't know. I think this might just be regular Bisma, I'm not sure, and this is Bisma Silver or Platinum. But anyway, I really like it. I think it's lovely. Hopefully we're focusing so you can see the plant. I can't tell. I'm more blind than usual, as I said. This one doesn't look like it's been attacked by spider mites yet either. Oh, and this one also has a blush on the back. A little bit of color. So that's cool. That's cool. This one does not. Maybe it's a light thing. This one here is Colocasia. I believe it's Colocasia. Buddha's palm. It looks like a little booty, that leaf. I don't know. Or a teardrop if you prefer. I guess it could look like a teardrop. I don't know. It's cute though. I like this one. It has very thin, dainty leaves, very subdued veining. They're not trying to steal the show. Once again, they're just happy to be part of the show. Green on the backs. It's been growing since it's been here. I think all of them have had new growth since they've been here. It's only been, I don't know, a month maybe? I don't know if it's even been that long. Time is an illusion. So this one here, this is not one from the trade. This is one that I had. Alocasia Boa, which looks like, I think I said it in the last video when I busted this up and repotted this, that it looked a little thrippy. It has a new leaf since then, and it doesn't look thrippy. It looks completely normal. But yeah, I like this one also because it's a lighter color green than most of the other Alocasia. It's just a true green. It's not a dark green, it's just green. I like that about it. The wavy leaves. Just an interesting leaf shape. And also kind of subdued veining, but it's visible. So yeah, it's really pretty. It's really pretty. This one here is also from the trade. Sorry, I'm always checking for spider mites or any signs of damage, which I don't see any on this guy. This is Alocasia Dawn. Maybe I can show it to you and stop staring at it myself. I really do like the variegation pattern on this particular Alocasia. Pattern, is that, I don't know, I guess you could call it a pattern, but it's sort of marbly or mottled rather than just huge chunks of sectoral. I mean, it does have some sectoral. It has the ability to do that. But, you know, I guess we all prefer, we might like to look at the big sectoral, but we all know that it's better for the plant if it's more mottled and marbly. So, is that a thrip? I think it was. Perfect. Okay, anyway. Y'all know I'm gonna go nuts in here with the vacuum. But anyway, yeah, Alocasia Dawn is lovely. And I think this is the last one from the trade. This is, I think she told me it was something else. Something similar to what it says on here, but something else, slightly different. Alocasia Pink Princess is what it says. Or maybe that was right, I'm not sure. I've never heard of Alocasia Pink Princess. So if you have some input, feel free to chime in, because I'm not 100% sure. And I'm not sure whether I was talking to her on Instagram or email or, you know, I can't remember where that conversation was to go look for it. It also has a slight blush on the back, very lovely. It's kind of a dark leaf. Very pretty, very pretty. And the petioles were a bit more pink. It's grown a couple leaves since it's been here, probably. I think it was one leaf sticking up, maybe. I can't remember. But it looks like there's two in here and they've both sprouted and gotten going. But the petioles were a bit more pink. They've faded now. So, I don't know. Either way, it's gorgeous. I love it. I'm happy to grow it. And hopefully not give it spider mites or thrips. And the last one I've got here is, my brain just quit, Alocasia Black Velvet, which I guess is a staple. It's a staple. It is one of the easier of the, like, you know, they call them jewel alocasias. It's very easy peasy. It doesn't complain about pretty much anything. I don't think it's ever had any pests. It might now, with my thrip sealing. I have no idea where they came from, but that's what it looks like to me, for what I can see. I recently converted this one to pawn, just because I find Alocasia, Colocasia, Xanthasoma, I find them all a lot easier in semi-hydro. I've never tried them in leca, I don't think. I don't know. If you have, let me know how that goes. But it's got lots of new root growth, and I haven't seen any of the old roots die off, which is amazing. So I'm guessing it really likes it. It really likes it. Not that this plant is hard in soil, it's really not. I'm just trying to simplify as much as possible, and it's a lot easier to just fill up a reservoir and forget about it for about a week. Not that you should do that with Alocasia because of the spider mite thing. But, you know, it is what it is. It is what it is. But yeah, I find this one very tolerant of underwatering, very resilient if it comes to pest. However, I will say that it is a bit slow to grow. It's slower than maybe any other Alocasia I have, or Colocasia. I think it really might be. Since I've converted it to pawn, semi-hydro, I think it's definitely been over a month. I'm gonna say it's been over a month, I think. And it has not spit out a new leaf, which probably, you know, doesn't sound like much, but it is the active growing season. It is warm in here, it is humid in here, and it is getting fairly decent light. It's kind of been hanging out in the bottom of the cabinet. And yeah, it's thinking about making a move now. I don't know if maybe you can see in there, right here. But it's not making one. Whereas, you know, I think all of the other Alocasia currently have either a new leaf that they just spit out or are spitting one out. Like, they're constantly spitting out new leaves, even when they've recently been repotted or converted or, you know, whatever. So I don't know. This one's just, and it's not just a thing I'm just now noticing. It's also slow even when there is active growth. It seems like there's quite a time span between new leaves. Maybe I'm wrong. You can argue with me in the comments if you want. I'll take it like a champ. I'm not sure. But it seems to me like this one's slow. And I think that might be all of the Alocasia, Colocasia, Xanthasoma, Caladium, whatever I have in here. I don't have any Caladium in here. And as I said, I only have one Xanthasoma, but I have a couple outside. Let's see, it's Regal Shields, Okinawa Silver, a Colocasia that I can't actually remember the name of. It's like Thai Giant might be the common name for it, and a Caladium, Frog in a Blender. So we'll go see those, and then I'll meet you back here. Okay, I think there's only 2 in the greenhouse, and one of them is right here, Alocasia Okinawa Silver. I think it's silver, yeah, that's what it's called. It's doing okay. This one is, I'm not going to say it never gets spider mites, because it does. It just doesn't take too much of a hit from it. There's something on that leaf right there. Something going on there. It might be an actual spider, I'm not sure. But this one here I pretty much rotted, I think last summer. So in the fall, oh, mosquito. In the fall, I repotted it into a much smaller pot, and it looks like it's trying to send out a little pup down there, so that's cool. But yeah, this one's doing good. I like this one. I like it a lot. It's very pretty. I don't have too much problem with yellowing or browning on the leaves of this plant, even with those big white spots, so that's unusual. I'll take it though. I like a plant that doesn't make me fuss over it too much. And then the other one I have in here is back there. You might be able to see some of the leaves sticking up. That is Alocasia Regal Shields. It is also very tolerant of my neglect. It's been dormant before it goes dormant, but it usually comes back. It hasn't been dormant in maybe a year or 2 now, I don't think, this particular one. Oh, trying to reach a leaf, but it has had spider mites. It has. It probably currently has them. I haven't gotten around to digging that one out to repot it yet. I just repotted it in October, but it's probably going to need it again. Just freshen up the soil, maybe pull some of the smaller plants out. Ooh, like you could see through my hand. Some of the smaller ones that are in there out. They're all kind of leaning in weird directions because they're trying to get the best light. But yeah, so I need to sort that out soon. It's a good one though. I really do like that plant. The underside of the leaf has a nice color. It's like a kind of purpley red color. Pretty. And then down here in stuff that's waiting to get planted in the ground, Frog in a Blender. It's looking a little sunburnt. This is, I think, the only Caladium I currently have, or the only one I'm sure is identified as Caladium. And I do like it. It's a good one. It does not come back every year, so I just keep buying it every year. I usually forget to dig up the bulbs, corms, but it's a good one. I like it. And then this here, this is the one I said it's just some sort of Alocasia, Colocasia. I cannot remember the name of it. I'll have to put it on screen, but it's it goes in the ground. This one does come back every year in the ground, and so I just leave it there. I don't dig it up. It's got some weird markings on it. I'm just looking to see if that's some sort of pesty. I don't know. But anyway, yeah, this is doomed to go in the hollow. Maybe not doomed. I just forget about them. I very rarely remember to water stuff back there, but they do okay. Pardon my mess. Don't look at that. Old pots and stuff. But anyway, yeah, that's that one. Okay, that was everybody. I think that was all of them. There's always some that get forgotten. And it's probably because they're dormant or, you know, out of sight, out of mind, which would mean if they're not dormant, they will be soon. But I think that is all of my Alocasia, or at least it's the majority of them. What do we do next tour? I still have Hoya, Epipremnum, Monstera, Cactus and Succulents. And then also I have the oddballs, which is basically plants that I forgot that are philodendron, or, you know, things that I've already done. But for whatever reason, I forgot that that particular plant existed, like my philodendron Bernardopazii. I don't know how I forgot that plant. Yeah, I do. It was like hanging on the wall, just kind of looking not great. I pay zero attention to some plants except when I water them, and I guess that's how they kind of get forgotten in tours. the Bernardo Pazii in question. This was the plant that had leaves as big as my torso a couple years ago. It has looked like this for almost a year. I just repotted it. I don't know. That, and then of course, aside from plants that I've forgotten, I've actually gotten a lot of new plants recently. Because I hate myself, I got a bunch of Calathea or Maranta type plants. Some other oddballs that, you know, I don't even know the name of off the top of my head. But anyway, we will stick those in still. Anything that I've forgotten, gotten lost, anything new, we'll stick those in a video somewhere at the end of this. But what do you want to see next? Like I said, Hoya, Monstera, Epipremnum. I have a bunch of Syngonium, more than I thought I had. I don't know. Yeah, let me know. Put it in the comments. I'll check them out. But yeah, that's going to do it for me. I think next video is actually going to be more plant chores because I'm trying to catch up on that. So we'll do that, and then we'll get back into the plant tours after plant chores. Tours and chores. That's what's going on here this summer. All right, I have a ceiling to go paint. I think I mentioned that I ripped up the carpet out of the room that's directly below me, which we call it the bird room. It used to be a living room, but now it's a bird room. I have 8 birds, parrots, and parakeets. So carpet holds secrets and I hate it. So I ripped it out. I'm gonna put in some, you know, fake wood flooring down there, but currently I'm painting in there. I took a few days off because I got paint in my eyeball and I can't get it out. It's very, very obnoxious. I've done eye wash, Visine, irrigated it, you know, all the things, and it's still just kind of in there being a little, it's the tiniest fleck. You know, I was painting the ceiling with a roller and the roller just flicked paint into my face. So it'll come out, I guess, when it's getting ready. Either that or I'll go back to the doctor. I don't know. But yeah, so that's what I'm off to go do. And then I'll probably work on plant chores later this afternoon when it's raining. I don't know. But yeah, thank you for hanging out with me. Thank you for watching, and come back and check me out again soon. Bye.